Having a fantastic day, and welcome to an interesting new indie... I don't know if I'd say indie horror, but let's say a visual novel game by Daisy-san, and it involves a bunny, which is completely something I don't find often. But as the game page puts it, let's see, welcome to Meadowvale, or at least that's what I would like to tell you. Innocent folks have been disappearing in the otherwise quiet town of Meadowvale. Clover the Park Ranger is tasked with solving the disappearances of their fellow townsfolk and friends. However, the truth may be closer than they were expecting. And the game contains animal violence, descriptions of violence, and player discretion is advised. But yeah, we'll take on the role of a Sable Woods Ranger, and apparently there's over 15 minutes of gameplay, over 3,000 words, and 4 different endings, and of course with cute animals. So it felt like just the right thing to get into, and give it a try. Let's just do that. Let's get those endings, and see how the story goes. Welcome to Meadowvale. Or at least, that's what I'd like to tell you. Meadowvale hasn't been so welcoming as of late. My name is Clover. I'm a park ranger for the town. That means anything outside Sable Woods is usually not my business. Also, okay, we can also see the full art, just in case. The last few weeks have made everything my business. You see, folks have been disappearing. Innocent folks, too, like Coda, our local lumberjack with the gruffiest face, but a heart of gold. Once he brought me a small wounded bird and asked how to help it. I've never forgotten how proud he looked the day it flew again. We're not sure when or where Coda disappeared, only that he never came home again. The next who went missing was on the edge of town, right out of her very own library. Calliope was sweet, immeasurably kind, and so knowledgeable that sometimes her understanding of Sable Woods surpassed my own. The worst you could say about her was that she was shy and, well, maybe a little clumsy. Maybe. And she has a plant growing out of her head. That doesn't seem healthy. I'll assume that it's sort of the thick sweater just makes me think maybe like Velma from Scooby-Doo, basically. I used to get all my wildlife glossaries from Callie. The library has been shuttered ever since Mayor Gizmo and the local peacekeepers found a rear-facing window shattered from the outside in. I miss her. It's a nice little basic black cat face. Or the last to disappear was our local artist, a young man by the name of Leander. I wouldn't think it's Leander, so I'm going to pronounce it Leander. Was almost as shy as Callie right up until he got his next big idea. I don't know where his latest creative burst took him, but he'd never been gone from home more than 2 days before this. It's strange walking through the town square and finding it empty. He always liked to paint there. I've trusted the local peacekeepers so far to investigate this string of disappearances, but nobody's come up with anything yet. Mayor Gizmo has asked me to meet with him today to discuss the missing folks, presumably to help solve the case. But I just hope I know what I'm getting into. Run, bunny, run. With his outfit, it makes me think he looks like a firefighter, but I don't think he is? We'll have to see. Actually, wait, what did the store page say again? He was a what? A ranger. He's the ranger. Okay, yeah. Arrive at the town gate without issue. For a few moments, it is painfully empty, devoid of both townsfolk and Mayor Gizmo himself. It's hard to keep the lonely landscape from getting to me. Meadowvale used to be a bustling town, but now everyone is too scared to come out of their homes. Ah, Clover, just the rabbit I was looking for. The mayor runs up to me, chest heaving with each panting breath by the time he arrives. I give him a few moments to recover. You wanted to see me, Mayor? What can I help with? Yes, we can dispense with the formalities. Mayor Gizmo gives a wry chuckle that makes my skin itch. Well, you and I, that is. You and I, that is, know that something is wrong, don't we? The mayor tugs on one of his ears with a nervous expression. Do you mean the disappearances? The mayor gives the same chuckle as before. I tuck my paws into my jacket pockets. Why, yes, of course. What else would there be to talk about? His odd chuckle turns into an outright bark of nervous laughter, though he covers himself quickly. my peacekeepers, you see, they haven't been able to find anything. I thought maybe what with the latest you could, well, you could look? Question mark? I tilt my head to one side, my long ears flopping along with emotion. What the latest? What do you mean, Mayor? Well, I assume, clears his throat and straightens his posture as if trying to compose himself before continuing. It's a bit of an unusual circumstance, even considering not only do we have a location for the last disappearance, we also have a witness. Safe. Where was the last victim seen? Where was the victim last seen? Or seen last? Mayor Gizmo shrugs uncomfortably, his eyes looking anywhere but at me. In your woods, Clover. In Sable Woods, near the old mine. That close, and I didn't know. Yes, well, perhaps you could investigate there for me. We need answers, Clover. He's coming up to me, assuming and accusing me. Guess worst case scenario could be like the rest of the town blames me and kills me for it if possible. Not sure. Depends how many people are left. Yes, of course, though. So wait. I chose that. It says, where was the last victim and where can I find the witness? Where can I find the person who saw the last disappearance? Old Bjorn? Well, he's probably out by the pier this time of the day. You know where that is, don't you? Can you remind me? South of Meadowvale, right on the edge. Stop stuttering. Is that all of your questions then? For now, Mayor. I'll come back here if I find anything. Right, well, there's one more thing I should, oh my god, you thrust something forward for me to take. Here. Is that a knife? Yes, for protection, just in case you need it. I think the mayor will need protection, if anything. He's wagging his tail, but what do you think? He's scared nervously? Okay, but this is definitely a crucial point in time. I'll let him protect himself with it. I don't know if I would die and I need the protection, but usually taking the knife is what most people would do first and foremost, so they could subvert expectations by making it so, you know, the mayor possibly dies by me taking his maybe one defense weapon? Who knows? Well, I suppose that's understandable coming from a ranger. Be safe, can't have anyone else going missing after all. Alright, you can expect me... Or, he's giving me the murder weapon, and he's planting it on me, and getting my fingerprints on it. And that's why he's nervous. And wagging his tail, which is, like, either evidence of his nervousness, or because he's bullshitting and acting. We'll have to see, I guess. You can expect me back with a report by tomorrow morning. The mayor puffs up in front of me. He looks like he's trying to seem confident. Then I shall look forward to that. His lack of confidence weighs on me. Where should I head first? South is where I would meet the... the witness. The witness would give us more information and more locations to go, so I want to check to see, unless having a knife and going to mines would be the better bet, but I want to check the mines first. Even if it's dangerous. To the southwest of Meadowvale, just a little ways past my own home, lies a massive patch of trees. The one and only Sable Woods. It doesn't take me long to track down the site of the latest disappearance, the mine entrance. It feels cold even for the time of year, but just here in the clearing, my breath comes out as a thick fog, which I try to wave away. I begin to chitter quietly, involuntarily, and wring my paws together. There are clear signs that something happened here recently, judging by the claw marks on that tree and the footprints over there. Where to start? I'll just keep going. Claw marks. These claw marks are huge. They almost look like cuts from an axe, but they're far too rough. I hope whatever made them isn't still around. There are footprints around, some of them are normal, but the others are big. There seems to be a path of drag marks in the dirt that leads to the mine, and... blood, that can't be right. I should go to the pier now. Bjorn might know more about what happened, and I don't want to go in unprepared. He's implying I maybe should have seen the witness first, then come here, maybe. Unless I have to do both. If they're not missing. I make my way to the south of town, where a large lake takes up a significant chunk of the horizon. At the end of the lake path is a massive dock and pier. though it, like town, is empty of the usual activity. It takes a few minutes for me to spot old Bjorn. Despite his massive, hulking size, the bear sits at the end of the long pier, a fishing pole between his paws. I call out to him without thinking. He's not that big of a bear. At least it's not a goddamn disgustingly inflated hyper-bear. Thank you, artist. Bjorn, may I speak to you? What the? It's a crack as Bjorn's fishing line, which apparently had a bite still wriggling on it, snaps in half. Bjorn gives a quiet curse and sets his rod aside before he turns to me with a heavy sigh. I mean, he's the biggest creature, I guess, that could cause the claw mark, so unless the game is about werewolves and big bad werewolves, number one suspect is going to be the bear. Because, I mean, in a town where all I've seen is, what was it? A male cat that's an artist, a female cat that's the librarian, a dog that's the mayor, a bunny that is a ranger. The bear is going to be the biggest one, right? And character, get out. And cartoony character projection aside, a bear is the biggest animal. He's my number one suspect for now. To my surprise, he then smiles. Could be big, soft, and cuddly external image. I don't know, man. I don't trust you. Clover the Ranger, what can I do for you? Clover the Ranger, what can... Yeah. Bjorn pats the space beside him on the pier, so I join him, dipping my barefoot paws into the water. He joins me, and soon we have a small fish nibbling at our toes. For a few moments, it's easy to forget everything else going on. Wait, is that little bunny smiley face came in recently? He's just a little switch. Whee! It's funny. For a few minutes, it's just me and Bjorn and some cute little fish. Then the moments pass. Mayor Gizmo informed me that you saw the latest disappearance happen. Bjorn shudders and pulls his feet back out of the water, his gaze drifting off in the direction of the Sable Woods. Why are you gazing off in Sable Woods where the most recent one was, huh? What do you know? That I did, Clover. That I did. It's not an experience I'd like to relive. It's a little suspicious, Mr. Bjorn. I pat his paw reassuringly. I totally don't suspect you first. Don't worry about it. You know, I wouldn't ask this of you if there was any other option, but you need to know what I saw. Please. Bjorn gives a heavy sigh, bowing his head. I suppose it's only right after what happened to those poor folks. I saw a huge monster with claws the size of kitchen knives and glowing white eyes. It dragged them off, kicking and screaming. There was nothing I could do. Nothing anyone could do. He says that like with a complete smile on his face, though. The rabbit changes his expression, but the bear not changing his is a little funny. Like, he's just saying it. Like, maybe I'd say it's like, one could argue it's an oversight, unless the bear is the killer. Then ignore what I'm saying right now. But the bunny was like this, right? Wait. Yeah, he was happy and the bunny's expression changes for the happiness, but this entire time the bear's expression just never changes, right? So then it's just like, he's just, oh man, there's nothing I could do, nothing anyone could do. Why are you saying that with such a nice little expression there, Mr. Bear? It's a little suspicious, but I'll think it's an oversight rather than, visual evidence of guilt. But moving on. Bjorn stares off across the lake, something clearly burning him still. He didn't mention the blood, but that's not relevant. The claw marks do line up with the story. He says as big as kitchen knives. Kitchen knives? I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Whatever's going on, I'll get to the bottom of it. Saying the claw marks at the site line up with your story sound... no. No. Save. Don't say you weren't warned. There are things out there that folks like us can barely fathom. Stay safe. Bjorn waves me off half-heartedly and turns away again. I will, Bjorn. Back to where it all happened. Okay, but no, I want to see what happens then if I say the other thing. There were drag marks at the site as well. I think you really know what you saw. He doesn't respond right away. He seems to be worrying deeply about something, lost in thought. It seems like you have more to say. You know that I'm here to listen, right? Alright, I'll tell you. Bjorn turns back towards me, still frowning, but now with a twinkle in his eye that I can't quite place. My pappy used to tell me stories. Stories young folks don't like to hear anymore, even though they're important stories. I frown for a moment, but press on. Sure, this has something to do with the case at hand. What kind of stories did he tell you? Stories about the woods, stories about the land we live on, stories of what came before. Bjorn turns to me, a very serious expression of his face. Or on his face. You know, we animals haven't always been rulers of the world, right, Ranger? Why are you making this sound like a Zootopia plot twist, man? I find myself entranced by his intensity. Of course, we don't know what came before, though. We may not know, but I do, Pappy. Or Pappy did, too. I don't respond, this time hoping my silence will encourage him more than my confusion. He must be getting at something important, I can feel it. Bjorn turns away and huffs. Before the animals were the spirits. Spirits of all things, of the wind and the trees and the grass and the waves. Used to be there was a spirit of the woods living right over there in your sable woods. Was. Some say still is. The thing to know about spirits, though, is they were as varied as the animal folk are, and that one was no soft cookie. It'd be funny if it was like, it wasn't a werewolf, it was just a human the entire time. Like, just the one lost human of all kind, he's just hanging out in the forest, and it's just like some kind of Floridian nutcase, right? We just happen to be in like the Floridian Everglades or some shit. And it's just like, we're talking about like scary shit happening. It's like, oh man, there's this massive scary creature with knives and he's killing all of us. Like 30 minutes later, and it's just like this fucking dude from Florida named Kyle. And he's just like eating all the animals one by one. Can someone please make a game like that, please? Like, come on, that like the ideas in my head are infinite. But my ability to make games, write novels, direct movies, write scripts, they just aren't there, you know? I need someone to take my ideas and make them reality. Make a nice game. It's just like this, but then it's a Floridian. No one will see it coming. But anyways, I'm not sure if I read this actually. Wait, some say still is. The thing to know, or wait, yeah, it was. The thing to know about spirits, though, is they were as varied as the animal folk are. That one was no soft cookie. Bjorn, you don't really mean to tell me a spirit lives in Sable Woods, do you? You don't really think that that's the cause of the disappearances. Bjorn doesn't look at me for a moment, but digs around in his jacket pocket instead. After several 10 seconds, he pulls out a small folded piece of paper bound in a strip of twine. From the twine hangs a charm that looks something like wind, maybe. If you get in a tight spot, look at that paper. Think of something special to you, special as Pappy's charm is to me. I think of something special to you, special as Pappy's charm is to me. Is supposed to be hinting of a relationship with Pappy. Oh. And ask the spirits for their help. Okay, so this feels like this is on the path for the better ending, while if I grabbed the knife, that would have been an instant bad to neutral ending. So I'm sort of maybe happy I'm going down this path, actually. He might just be what saves you. I'll take your word for it, honestly, because he's bringing up magic and superstition in a game that was just momentarily forged in mostly reality, or reality logic, you know? But yeah, I pocket the paper charm and all. Bjorn has taken to looking out at the lake again. He doesn't move as I stand up to leave. Be safe, little Clover. If not for you, then for all we've lost, be safe. I will, Bjorn. Back to where it all happened. Interesting. So if I didn't see him first... No, if I went to see the bear, I wouldn't have known about the claw marks first, is another thing to keep in mind. Which meant probably if I didn't see the crime scene first, and then go to the witness second, we might have missed out getting this charm entirely. Potentially, because the only way we could have gotten that dialogue choice was being like, okay, your story lines up, and then saying you have more. But if I didn't check up the crime scene, we wouldn't know if it lines up or not. We'd have to check the scene, and then go back to him, which is likely impossible. So this is definitely a specific and probably the best route, frankly. I shudder at the sight and glance around. The sky darkens a tick as the sun droops further below the horizon. I've gathered what information I can. There's only one place left to look. Time to check out the mine itself. This little tiny bunny has to be careful. The drag marks carry on briefly into the darkness of the cave, and I withdraw a flashlight from my jacket pocket as I enter. It clicks on to reveal a dark red-brown trail on the floor. My ears flatten out against my head, but I shake off the feeling and carry on. The distant hum of the wilderness fades and is overtaken by my own echoing footfalls, and I can feel its absence weighing heavily on my shoulders. There are more claw marks up ahead, leading around a bend in the path of the cave. Unused mining equipment lies scattered to and fro, mostly lanterns with shattered bulbs and picks with broken handles. There's an odd lack of cobwebs and dust, though, as if the mine is well trodden. I reach the corner and place a shaking paw gently on the claw marks, then peek around and into the darkness. There is a shape in the shadows that seems to defy the light of my weak flashlight. It seems to be warded off. Wait. There's a shape in the shadows that seems to defy the light of my weak flashlight. The shape is breathing. Okay, well this is important. We'll do stupid decisions first. We'll creep up because it could be a person. Calling out if it's breathing, it's hinting it's likely a person. We're gonna creep up on them. I put a hand over the flashlight, dimming it just enough to hide myself, and I take a few careful steps closer to the beast. I can see it rising and falling now, the slight sheen on its fur. Because I get a feeling if you had the knife, and sorry for the interruptions, I think an option might be to stab, but it's probably a person. I think we'll be able to sneak up without negative things happening in either way. I can see it rising and falling now, the slight sheen of its fur. Oh, I'm already right, maybe. As I ponder what it could be, something crackles noisily beneath my feet. I don't glance down at it, but I can see the other bones scattered throughout the space. The creature suddenly rises and whips around. It's a huge thing, a mass of mangy black fur with glowing white eyes and claws the size of kitchen knives. Oh shit! Okay, never mind, it was a dangerous werewolf. Okay, maybe it's the bear, but wearing a suit. It rushes towards me like a spear of snarling, filthy obsidian. Wait, like a spear of snarling, filthy obsidian. Wait, what? It rushes towards me like a spear of snarling, filthy obsidian. Covering what? Covering what ground stood... It's weirdly sentenced, but it lunges towards me like a spear. It's also filthy and obsidian colored, I guess. Covering what ground stood between us in the blink of an eye. Okay. I mean, I don't think you'd be able to hide, but... Yeah. Hide. I point the flashlight directly into the creature's eyes and then abruptly shut it off. I move through the darkness by memory until a discarded barrel stands between me and where I last saw the monster. The barrel shatters behind me, torn apart by the force of a single blow. No! I dive away and turn the flashlight back on the beast as the beast prepares for another attack. Dodge it, bunny! I dart away, leading with my shoulder as a few ivory talons pass through the space above me. My foot lands on a collection of dry, crackling bones and I stumble into a wall. The beast readies another attack. I can't fight, I don't have a knife! Can I fight with my talisman or no? I drop to the ground in frantic search of a weapon. I grab a loose stone out of desperation and hurl it towards the monster. Somehow it makes contact and the beast twists its head away, howling and pawing at the affected area. Before I can drop another, however, it is preparing to charge me again. In all the commotion, the movement, the tussle, I find myself backing into a corner. The monster walks a half circle around me, glaring furiously with its gleaming eyes, its jaws dripping. It scrapes the ground with its claws and growls, but the movement of its leg is weak. Why weak? Something wounded it before? And if it's a werewolf, there's a chance it is a person and transforms into it, too. But to keep in mind if there's a townsperson that has a weak leg or something. Its growl poorly conceals a whimper. Now is my chance and possibly my only one. I mean, yeah, the charm would be the obvious thing to do, because if it's a townsperson, we could maybe... I mean, again, I'm gonna do the stupid decisions first. No, and actually, this is the dumbest, then second dumbest, and then the most logical. The beast suddenly charges towards me, and I lunge to the ground in reaction. I take hold of a loose rock and raise it in front of myself, but the creature dashes it away easily and sends me stumbling to the ground. My head makes solid contact with something. A wooden support, or a barrel, or a minecraft, I don't have time to know what, and my ears ring. Even as I twist around to face the threat again, its sharpened claws dig into me and hurl me across the floor in a single impact. No! My discarded flashlight casts a dusty beam through the air from somewhere nearby. Even as I stare at the ceiling, even as my head aches, even as my vision fades, I try to raise my arm again to defend myself, but my shoulder crackles, and a white-hot spear of pain drives itself into my collarbone. I close my eyes. The ground gently thuds as the creature walks towards me. I can feel its breath on my face, stinking of iron and flesh. It's over. The ground is cold, my body is spent, and my mind fragments and spirals off. And it's over. End. Demise. Yes, I was expecting that. Well, end probably being one of the endings? Because there's 4 endings. It's either that or it's death and not an ending. Let's speak to the spirit. Which might make it so we don't die, maybe? Before the beast can charge at me, I raise my hand. It stops in place and stares at me, and I put on a brave face, though it feels as though my heart wants to hop out of my chest and go for a run. I go for a run? And run for it. I think it needs... the game needs a little bit more of a better translation, I think, in some areas, but I'll forgive it, it's fine. Are you okay? Are you sure you want to do this? The creature stares at me, its glowing eyes seem to pulse. It cocks its head to the side. In so many years, the first to speak to me as an equal? I knew it! See, it's what I tell you, everyone, right? I always tell you guys, you gotta treat every animal or every potential evil creature as if maybe it's intelligent, and hope that you can reason with it. If it's like the first choice, always try to reason with anything evil or questionable. And if you can't reason with it, okay, then do the second option. Interesting. Its mouth is motionless. The voice seems to call out from everywhere and nowhere at once, echoing and circling around me. What a delight. Tell me, do you wish to end my reign of terror in your little town? Its tone is cloying and Cheshire. Maybe a little impatient. Eventually I nod uneasily. Yes, I would very much like that. The creature turns up its snout and its eyes gleam. Wonderful. It's really very simple. You will take on my lot, and I will be free to pass on. The casualness of the creature's words leave my neck hairs on end, and I fight hard to keep my chittering to a minimum. What do you mean by your lot, and what do you mean by pass on? The creature paces in place, and a low cackle seems to echo from the floor. I'll answer you quickly, but then you must choose. For the first time you shall become like I am. You shall live in the darkness and hunger for the blood of your kind. I stare in the mild shock, waiting for it to continue. As for passing on, I am forced to live this way forever, and once you've taken my burden on, I will be granted the mercy of death. It's not exactly a win-win, more of a win-lose neutral sort of situation. So your decision. Okay, well, so it's sort of like a mission in The Witcher 3. There's a werewolf-related mission that I won't spoil, but those that have played Witcher 3 probably know what I'm talking about. Both of these might lead to an ending, but I'll see what happens if I say no. I shake my head. The beast suddenly charges towards me, and I lunge to the ground in reaction. Yeah, I think that's just dead then. The same as before. It's over. Nope. It's just ending. Alright then. Accept! I put on the bravest face I can, though it feels lacking, and extend a paw to the beast wordlessly. End. Contract. Oh, come on. I would at least have liked to see, maybe what the bunny would turn into. I want to see a were-bunny. Were-bunny would have been cool, man. Were-bunnies are cool. But anyways, were-bunny, all you had to do is, look at One Piece, just type in One Piece, carrot. Or carrot transformation. You can thank me later if you'd ever watch One Piece, although, if you're a furry, you probably already know who One Piece carrot is. And if you don't, and you like bunnies, congrats. You now know who Carrot is. But anyways, now we got 2 endings. Let's pull out the charm. The beast suddenly charges towards me, and my hand flies to my pocket on reaction. I reach in and withdraw Bjorn's charm and the slip of paper that carries it, raising it up like a shield towards the monster now bearing down upon me. It freezes in place, stock still, waiting. My heart is thumping wildly in my chest, but my breathing is still somehow under control. I unfold the sheet of paper and stare down at it. It's blank. I stare at it for a moment, dumbfounded and desperate. Then the charm begins to glow. First like a star, then the moon. Then the sun, brighter and brighter, until there's nothing to see besides the light. Oh. Did I cure him and he was... I can hear distant sounds and feel distant auras, separated from me by time and by space, but not memory. I hear an axe chopping firewood in the crisp autumn air. I can hear a rough brush on canvas and quiet contemplative noises. I can hear shifting paper and feel the warmth of a hand on my own. I can hear the whimpering of a quiet, lonely creature. Its stomach is empty and its wounds go untended, and the seasons wrap it up in moisture and mud. It's afraid. I reach out a hand and everything fades. Curled in a shivering heap before me is a small wolf pup. Oh, its fur is matted and its eyes closed in fear. The air around me is still bright with the white energy from before, whirling around as it dissipates. Before it fades entirely, a voice that seems to call out from everywhere and nowhere at once, echoing and circling around me, whispers, "Thank you." I look around, unsure of the exact source of the noise. The whimpering of the pup pulls my attention to it, and I take a small step over. It looks up at me, pulling its ears back and recoiling. There, little one. I cue, kneeling down and gently extending a paw to it. The pup sniffs it hesitantly for a moment before it begins to lick my paw. I mean, it's still a wolf and he's still a rabbit, but... I chuckle and then scoop the mass of fur up, wrapping it in my arms. I don't think I know even half of what you went through. I think I speak for all of Meadowvale when I say I'm happy to give you a second chance. I mean... how many people in your town did it eat and or kill? But I get it's a curse. It's a happy ending, but I mean, at least it's not like a Steven Universe ending, right? I think I speak for all of Meadowvale when I say I'm happy to give you a second chance. End purification. Alright. If there's only 4 endings, then... there's so many things... oh my god. Because there's not too many paths, but I'm guessing the other ending is just with a knife. But I'm curious about the things I said, so... oh my god, no, stop being itchy, seriously. Zoom. So what we'll do, we'll not take the knife. We will see the bear. It seems like that you have more to say. I mean... we'll call out to the shadowy figure. If we don't have a knife, this likely means we just have like a complete dead end and we can't get away from this because we don't have the note and we don't have a knife. But okay, call out. I point my flashlight towards the floor in order to avoid blinding whatever the thing is. The light bounces off a collection of bright ivy white objects scattered on the floor of this space. I try not to stare at them for long. Hello, are you okay? Are you from Meadowvale? The creature suddenly rises and whips around. It's a huge thing, a mass of mangy fur with glowing white eyes. Also, it doesn't have... I do sometimes find it funny. It's like I want to see like the full art, but it clips off where the text box knowingly will be. But again, I'm not. It's nothing to critique or pick or be picky about. I think everything. Fight though. I don't. Yeah, this is just a dead end, so we don't need to do this. There really is only one choice. We take the knife. Be safe. Can't have anyone else going missing after all. Right. Expect me back with the report. Alright, but yeah, let me just... I guess just go to the... like, since I don't have to worry about... Everything I was theorizing was for nothing, because it's not like the game was long enough to be a plot twist where the bear is guilty, but his facial expression not changing was still funny. But, What if I then creep up, and then hide, and then dodge, and then fight? I pull the knife from my pocket and flick it open, flailing wildly through the darkness. I feel it connect a few times with the knife, though in its wild attack it seems to do most of the damage itself. It catches me once with a sweep of its claws, and I dart away. By the time I turn around, the beast is licking its wounds and preparing to strike again. In all the commotion, the movement, the tussle, I find myself backing into a corner. The monster walks a half circle around me, glaring furiously with its gleaming eyes, its jaws dripping. It's still... Well, yep. The last ending, I guess, is just use the knife. The beast suddenly charges towards me, and my hand flies to my pocket on reaction. I withdraw the pocket knife in a flash and unfold its blade once again. Even in the dimness, I catch the sheen on its soiled surface in the light of my flashlight, dashing through the air this way and that. The beast is weakened, it is slowed, and the grace and ferocity it had demonstrated earlier are gone. Man, the fact that this bunny could, just single-handedly, CQC knife a fucking giant werewolf is pretty impressive. I guess I gotta give props to this ranger bunny. Somehow just has immense dodging and, melee skills, seriously. But my heart aches as its growls reduce to whimpers and whines, cut fur and thick blood sticking to my hand and arm as the melee goes on. It lunges for a final blow, jaw wide and eyes fading, but it never lands. The creature slumps against me instead, knocking my battered form to the ground in a heap, sending my ill-suited weapon clattering to the floor. It's done. The ground is cold and my body is spent. My mind fragments and spirals off, but it's done. End execution. It just ends like that, too. Well, it's kind of a shame that it doesn't have a complete ending. But that basically would be the entire game. I would honestly hope for a more wrapped up ending. It feels like it could... what's the word I'm looking for? Wrap things up? Like an epilogue of sorts. I feel like this game, or games like this, are more suited to have an epilogue. You have the prologue, which, let's say storyboarding could be considered, let's say, you starting off with a character saying, "Hi, I'm this bunny or rabbit," and they're going to town. I don't know, an epilogue that makes it so you... I don't know, I just feel like some kind of explanation of what happens after to know what happened. Hey, the villagers are just really gone forever. How do they get over it? Everyone just... There's not enough information. I don't know. Am I the only one? I feel like it's I get how the story is. All the people missing are just gone. I get the story of the werewolf. And I can get the happy ending with the werewolf turning into a regular wolf pup. But I still would like to, I guess, just an epilogue. I don't know how else I can explain it just by that. I think that's all I need to really say. But otherwise... Cute art, yes. Cute art, short and simple, but if just a little bit more, let's say it's instead of 3,000 words, it's 4,500 words, and the last bit is an ending that wraps everything up. Something just to resolve and make things feel a little bit more complete, simply, is all I would be suggesting, basically. But either way, interesting game. Nitpicks aside, again, cute art, but if only a little longer. That's usually my complaints typically, even with indie horror games, right? I'll be like, 10 minutes. It's just getting good. And then, maybe either too short or just, I want more. I want to feel more, I don't know, complete? I don't know what words to use besides just complete or just everything feeling resolved. Everything is resolved, but again, it's when you watch some movies and sometimes it has the end credits where it explains what the main characters are doing after the movie. There'll be and Jim retired with 5 children. He won the lottery at age 70, had a heart attack at age 75, and left 30 beautiful children bunnies and lived happily ever after. And then they explain what happened to the pup. Like, he grew up and became like something like that, right? Like here's even, you complete the wholesome shit. The wolf joins the village. The people don't want to kill the pup, and the pup then 10 years down the road becomes large again, but doesn't remain evil and becomes the guardian of the village for like decades to come, sort of thing. Like something like that, where you explain what happened after. That'd be cool, right? That felt like it. Like if you just say that, that would fit me, and I don't know, it just bugs me, right? No, that's what happens now. I'll get a little passionate about my suggestions, but either way, I'll stop rambling. But that was my suggestion. Like, if only you explained what happened to the characters afterwards, as limited as it is. But if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber, and hit the notification down below for updates on my videos. Thank you for watching. Until next time.